Welcome to SveNFL.
What's up, y'all?
It's Jonathan Rollins.
Excuse me, Sarah.
And we are two Americans living in Sweden talking about the AFC. Yeah, man. We're on to the AFC. Last week it was the NFC. And shoot, I'm excited because this is the conference that my team's in. But first, we'll hop into some news.
Yeah. Obviously, the AFC is known as the good conference. The one with all the good teams in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it should be fun to talk about. Before we get into the news, I want to remind people that we're still working on a date for the fantasy draft. We got to talk to Champ this week and figure it out. But it's very likely going to be, well, we have a limited number of days left. So it's probably going to be next weekend would be my guess.
Okay.
I mean, that's the last weekend before football. So
Okay.
Either way, we'll see. Also, the ESPN Pigskin Pick'em League, as well as the Eliminator League that we've had for the last couple of years, has been relaunched. You can go to the Facebook page. It's got all the information, the password, and all that kind of stuff. And you can try to act like you know more about football than everybody else. I did terrible in the Eliminator Challenge last year. Awful. I think I was out by week 2 because I, for whatever reason, believed in the Chargers.
Oh, shit.
We'll get to that later when we talk about the AFC. I don't think I'm ever going to believe in the Chargers again, ever. I'm out.
All right, man. They got a good coach now.
We'll see. News. Let's do it. Probably one of the more, and this is not whatever, it just happened. It's a thing that happened. The Patriots traded 4-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Matthew Judon to the Falcons for a 3rd-round pick. This is not a Falcons podcast, but this is clearly one of the biggest stories of the week.
And he chose y'all.
He
did.
He had
other options.
Because it appears like, like he was holding out or holding in, however you want to put it, for a contract extension and a pay raise. But he appears to have chosen the Falcons and is okay playing for a year on his current deal. So he's not demanding a new contract from the Falcons. Like, I think he just wanted to fuck out. And he's like, I'll play for a year on this contract and then hopefully somebody will pay me after that, He just wanted to fuck out of New England, I think. But this is like a major. Obviously, he spent most of last year with a torn bicep. However, in his last healthy season in 2022, Judon had 15.5 sacks. You know what I mean? That's a couple of years ago. I know it can go off the cliff pretty quick, but if this guy is even half of what we hope he's going to be.
Yeah.
That's still a disruptive, cantankerous pass rusher with bad intentions. Like that is exactly what we're missing. And something we haven't. I know, right? That's one of my favorite words.
Wow.
So, yeah. And then, of course, a day later, the Falcons do a double, drop it like it's hot, with news that they're signing All-Pro safety Justin Simmons, $8 million contract.
Tell them to bring me my money.
You got Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates back there at safety. AJ Terrell at corner, Judon at linebacker, Grady Jarrett and Onyemata, and my man Lorenzo Carter up front. I mean, the Falcons' defense is not going to be a joke anymore.
And Raheem Morris as the coach. Is he going to call the plays?
Good question. Not sure.
I hope not. He should just let a coordinator do it. Your scheme, but let a coordinator do it. That's my suggestion, but what do I know?
Yeah. It's very exciting. It's uncharted territory for a Falcons fan to feel excited about all of this defense, and we've been ignoring the defense for like 10 years, I think.
Yeah.
So we're like, just fuck it, just throw the ball downfield. We'll figure it out. Bad news for.
Hopefully they use Pitts. That's what I'm hoping.
Oh yeah, I think they're going to use the shit out of him for sure.
Good.
Yeah, we'll see. Their wide receiver is kind of anyone's guess who's going to step up and be their wide receiver 2 or 3. I assume Pitts is going to be the 2, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Bad news for the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy, his rookie season over before it even gets started. Torn meniscus.
Out for the season.
He's out for the season.
Jeez.
Yeah, he is out for the season. I was recently asked a question by my daughter. Maybe this I didn't understand why she asked me, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
This was a trend on TikTok like last year, but I'm a black man. Fucking never.
Right.
Never. I thought it was weird. And then so many women were asking the guys, and they were like, all the time. I think it might be a white thing. That's what I assumed. But
I think it might be too, because a day after this season-ending injury news, J.J. McCarthy took to Instagram and posted an inspirational quote attributed to Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius that said, quote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." I'm not sure if he realizes that during the Christian era of the Roman Empire, they switched up their preferred method of execution from crucifixion to burning people alive. So I'm not really sure that this quote is as accurate as he thinks it is. We're just gonna throw your meniscus into the fire, and we think it's gonna come out made of steel. What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Come on, man.
This is whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever makes him feel better, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, and then it got worse for the Vikings because Jordan Addison was carted off at practice with an ankle injury shortly after that. They say it's not serious, but every time I hear player X and the words carted off, it never really feels good.
Damn.
But they did go out and sign.
We talking about practice.
Yeah, exactly. The Vikings did go out and sign free agent cornerback Stephon Gilmore.
Oh.
To a $10 million deal.
Where did he last play? Dallas?
Cowboys. He played 1 year with the Cowboys.
Yeah, man. I remember when he was an elite.
Let's see. More bad news. Bills lose linebacker Matt Milano to a torn bicep. Probably done for the year.
Oh. He's great. He is great.
This is a huge loss for the Bills. This kind of changes my whole. I mean, I was already leaning towards a potential Bills.
No, they're going to collapse. But
I was definitely predicting a step back, but now I'm starting to feel like. Man,
they played their. I watched their preseason game. I was trying to do some recon on AFC East, so I was watching see what the teams, and the Bills' defense looked fucking great. They were flying around, man, on in their preseason game, but it's preseason. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe. Oh, well. Not crying, shedding any tears over that.
Yeah, I'd be if I'm a Bills fan, I'm a little worried. But you're not. You're a Dolphins fan, so you're not worried. You feel good.
Not worried at all.
You feel good about it.
Yeah. I don't feel good about it, but
that's how fandom works.
I was, it's like, oh, damn, that sucks. Oh, but it helps. But I was watching him. I always, every game they play, I watch that dude, man. I'm just like, damn, I want to hate. It's one of those players you want to hate, but then it's just like you can't. He's that good. So that sucks for them, man.
I also think that speaking of people who are that good, Caleb Williams appears to be
That good.
that good. I mean, he's been very impressive to watch. Probably the most impressive throw that I saw over the weekend was one that Rome Odunze, he caught the ball in the back of the end zone. He was out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
But the throw was like on a rope.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. Pretty impressive.
Looks like he might be the truth, man.
He's obviously going to start for the Bears. The other two news items that we got quarterback related is that Jaden Daniels has been announced as the QB1 in Washington.
I was watching that their preseason game too.
He's looked pretty good.
Yeah. I was impressed.
Who's the other one? Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew is QB1.
Oh, who'd he beat out? Raiders. Oh, AOC, huh?
They beat out Aiden O'Connell.
Ooh. It's not a good sign when we said it when he came in. Did we say it on here or did we say it in person? I don't remember, but I knew that wherever Gardner Minshew goes, man, it's like you gotta watch your back because he's like just good enough to be a bad starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm. He's like the flip-flopped assassin. You know, he rolls into town wearing cut off jean shorts and a tank top and flip-flops, and you think, well, this guy's whatever. I'm not going to be afraid of this guy.
Nothing to worry about, man.
He comes in, takes your job, fucks your wife, drinks all your beer. It's over. You're done. Let's see. Herbert's back at practice. I heard that this morning, so that's good for them. Who else won the starting job? Somebody else. Oh, well, actually nobody. The Pittsburgh situation appears to be like just a total fucking shit show between Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Oh, I watched that just to see how I was going to look. Not into it.
It doesn't. They're not. You're just not going to want that, basically.
I can't find it, Pat.
You're just not going to want that.
There it is. Let's see. Finally, this is very interesting. I'm a little... Nicolas Cage... It's been announced that Nicolas Cage is going to play John Madden.
I saw that.
In a David O. Russell... At first, I thought it was a John Madden biopic, but it's not. It's a movie about Madden, the video game, somehow. It's the origin story of Madden, one of the biggest video game franchises of all time, is what it, according to the Hollywood Reporter.
All right, it is.
Kind of fascinating. I don't know if Nicolas Cage would be my first choice. I like him. It's going to be a lot of work to make him look like John Madden.
Yeah.
Why not go with John Goodman? Why not go with John Goodman? He's like already halfway there. You know?
Yeah, he might be too old, but you could probably. Yeah, I'll almost say Jonah Hill, but there's somebody. John C. Reilly.
True. I just don't really think of Nicolas Cage as a
football coach. No, he's too even somebody like. I don't know.
I don't think of him as a character actor. I mean, he is to a certain degree, but
he's a character.
But I feel like he's just who he's. I don't know. He's either himself or he is this version of himself in just about every movie. I don't see him as. I don't know. We'll see. We'll give it a chance. But that's pretty much the news. There's a lot of other weird shit happening in the world that, if you want to read about the ex-NFL football player who peed on a passenger in the middle of a transatlantic flight, then you can go do that if you want to. It's out there.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I just saw it this morning when I woke up.
Wow.
He's claiming he was on sleeping pills. He literally just walked up to this 80-year-old lady and whipped his junk out and started pissing all over her.
Oh no.
Oof. Which is oof. It's not good. But yeah, let's get into the AFC, shall we?
Yeah, man. First things first is the AFC West. I was thinking we go west, north, east, south, like clockwise.
Sure. We could start in the West.
Might as well.
Let's start with the Chargers.
You're ready to get on them, huh?
Well, look, Harbaugh, I'll say this. Harbaugh is exactly what the Chargers need. Because one of the things that the Chargers lack.
I agree with this.
There's two very important things that the Chargers lack. Competent, proven coach, but also a sense of identity. This team has no identity. It never has. Since it moved from San Diego to Los Angeles, it has been, the bastard stepchild. Nobody cares. But I think he has the ability to draw people to the team.
Yes.
He could. So, yeah, I think people will like his weird personality, and he is weird. He says something weird almost every day. And I don't know, you either love it or you hate it. I mean, I, as someone who follows college football, am more than a little fascinated by how he left a certified dumpster fire behind in Michigan with all kinds of cheating scandals and rule infractions. And, Michigan wins the state championship, national championship with Harbaugh. And now they might be banned from competing for the national championship for, a couple of years because of some of the shenanigans that he got into. And now he's like, okay, I'm in the NFL now. Fuck you guys. Don't really know what you're talking about. So I personally think it's a little shady. But it is what it is. It's kind of fascinating.
Well, the AFC West is playing the NFC South this season, which is, as y'all, and then the AFC North. So it's kind of like easy and then tough,
Right.
And then they play their own division too, so
right.
It could be a tough one for them.
There is this assumption that the Chargers are going to be a run-first offense.
I think so too. I think they're going to keep. But it's tough if they're running effectively, and you got play action, and this dude with this cannon of an arm. But they did get rid of Keenan Allen.
But I mean, they gutted their wide receiver.
Yeah, exactly.
Room. So now they have Joshua Palmer, who was like wide receiver 3 last year, is essentially their number 1. I don't have a problem with him. I'm just saying it's a little weird that the guy who used to be your number 3 is now your number 1. Yeah. And then they've got my man, former Bulldog Lad McConkey, who's in his rookie year, yeah, exactly. I can tell you that I think he's a very good wide receiver, but I don't know. I'm just like, I'm a little out on Justin Herbert. I think he's overrated, personally.
Oh, yeah. I agree wholeheartedly. I think he's handsome, and that's what gets everybody liking him because he's got the long hair and he looks like a model or whatever. That doesn't make it. I mean, and he's got a strong arm. They get enamored with the strong arm. He just looks like a good quarterback, so then everybody wants him to be one. But it's like,
I think in general, this has been a bad offseason for...
And his third coach, too.
For the Herbert versus Tua.
Oh, yeah.
For the people who... on Team Herbert, it's been a bad offseason for them because the more we watch, Herbert gets injured, all of a sudden I'm wholeheartedly expecting this team to fail to live up to expectations again because that's what they always do, and I'm finally listening to what they're, to the trend. This is who they are. They are picked Like in the betting circle, they are expected.
But they are who we thought they were.
Nine wins is their over under.
Oh.
I'm like, no, absolutely not.
You don't 100%. Think they'll make 9 wins?
No.
No, I don't either.
No, I don't think they'll make 9 wins at all. I don't think their defense was very good last year, and I think, currently their defense is banged up. We haven't, what's his name, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, all these guys. They're not healthy. This defense probably hasn't gotten better. The secondary is atrocious. They didn't. I don't know, man. Really.
I think Harbaugh quickly turns teams around, man. So I wouldn't.
Yeah, but they also have Easton Stick as their backup. So like Herbert gets injured, they're literally one play away. From Easton Stick.
That's every team though. If you lose your starting quarterback, it's going to be.
I'm not. I'm a
Harbaugh fan. I think Harbaugh can. If anybody can turn it around, it's him. They needed a culture change, and they got him.
I agree with that. I
think he's gonna quickly change the culture. It's gonna be interesting to see. I don't write him off though, but I don't think 9 wins either. What we got? You want to do Chiefs next or Raiders? Let's do Raiders.
Let's do Raiders.
Raiders. They got this the same. Their whole division. They're playing the NFC South and the AFC North, so they got pretty much the same challenges. I think they're gonna realize they made a mistake with Antonio Pierce.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't think he's going to pan out as a good head coach. I know, right?
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry, yeah. I think they should have gone after an established coach. And I feel bad for the fans. But they don't have a quarterback either.
Devontae Adams catching passes from Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
I don't understand how this happened. On a personal level, I'm pretty excited to see my man, former Bulldog Zamir White, get a chance to be the lead back. He's strong, he's thick, downhill runner. He's a really good goal line back. I don't know how good he's going to be. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be tricky.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on that, man. I think listening to Max Crosby and picking your coach based on that was a mistake.
Probably. The other thing I can't wait to see is Brock Bowers, also another Bulldog. Now, obviously he's a tight end, but the reports I've read suggested that they're lining this dude up all over the field. Tight end, slot receiver, wide out. They line him up at fullback. Okay. Now, I don't want to jinx it, but you remember how people were talking about Kyle Pitts when he first came out of college, right? Mm-hmm. They were calling him the unicorn.
Yeah.
Well, this dude Brock Bowers is that, and then some. Like, I'm telling you, the way they used him when he was at Georgia, when they won those back-to-back national championships, if that's how they're planning to try and use him, like all over the field, jet sweeps, they line him up all over the fucking place.
Oh, nice.
If they can get even just like halfway decent quarterback play, then the Raiders have really stumbled onto something.
What's their over-under?
6.5. Not good.
Eesh. That might, I don't know. Wouldn't be surprised if they are under that. Yeah, they're gonna be under. They're gonna be under with Brock. I'm not Brock Purdy, but with the Gardner Minshew. And if Minshew beat out AOC, then it's not a good sign. Let's do Denver now. This might be my least favorite coach.
Yeah, me too.
I agree that he's a good offensive mind, but I just feel like something about it tells me he's a Trump supporter, man.
Well, not only that, like, okay.
It's just got these vibes of like kind of racist old dude that's really stubborn and is not, the leads passed him by.
So everyone is excited about Bo Nix because he's played 2 preseason games.
Oh, yeah.
And he's done fairly well. I don't know, whatever. Maybe he'll be fine. obviously, I've said this before. I watched him in college. On paper, his preseason numbers make it look like he's getting ready to blow up the NFL. But if you watch the tape and you see this 24-year-old quarterback playing like late career Drew Brees when he couldn't throw the ball more than 5 yards. It's all little dink and dunk plays.
Keep it simple.
And like, don't. It's like Sean Payton basically telling him, like, don't go out there and embarrass me.
Damn, they beat the Packers 27-2.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that game. 2? Y'all didn't even pinch the motherfucker?
Yeah. This team is like a fantasy football nightmare. You can't really figure, like, especially from the running back position, they have like Javonte Williams, Jaleel McLaughlin, Samaje Perine, Audric Estime. It's like, who are you? It's like, who exactly is running the rock for this team? And their wide receiver room is not any less confusing either.
And they're in that division. You know, it's not gonna be a good one. What's their over under?
6.
I feel like he'll cover that though. They had a good defense at the end of the year last year, and the defensive stats are kind of skewed because the Dolphins put up 70 points on them. Yeah, but they still turned it around at the end of the year. So if they keep that going, they kept Vance Joseph as the coordinator.
Look, the Bo Nix truthers will tell you, because he spent all those extra years in college, he's more prepared for the NFL
than Russell Wilson.
Then we'll see. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Yeah. I really don't know. I tend to think not. I don't think he's going to be.
Well, with all said and done, I think the winner of this division, again, is going to be the Chiefs, and I think they're going to threaten to win 3 Super Bowls in a row.
It's kind of hard to argue. You know, it's like you try to
they're
find.
They're going to win division. I can't see them losing division.
You try to find all kinds of holes with this team, and it's like, you know, and then you turn on the tape and you start seeing the shit with Xavier Worthy just blazing by people. Yeah. You see this behind the back pass to Travis Kelce, and you're like, okay, great. Now that's a thing. Hollywood Brown got hurt, but he'll obviously come back. Doesn't look like Rashee Rice is going to get suspended this year for all of his kind of summer shenanigans. It looks like if he is suspended at all, it probably won't come until next year once they let the legal process play out. So you're going to have him handy as well. I mean, and then the guy who never really gets talked about, but quietly had a great season last year was Isaiah Pacheco. This guy was, you know what I mean? Like he's still there.
Hard.
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah. And Andy Reid is still there, and Patrick Mahomes is still there. And if we go with our coach quarterback combo, it's the best. I don't know what else to say.
Their over-under is 11.5.
11.5. And I think they'll go over.
11.5, and they're playing the NFC South. That's right.
That's 3 wins.
Because we play them.
They might slip up and lose one, but I feel like they could probably sweep the NFC South.
Can you imagine if they lose to the Falcons? I would freak out.
You would lose your mind.
All right. Where are we going now?
AFC North.
AFC North.
Yeah, man. It's Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers. Let's start with the Bengals. Your daughter's team. The AFC North is playing against the NFC East, which looks like there might be some cream puffs this year, and the AFC West that we just went over. So it's kind of even. And so far in the preseason, they lost both games, but that's preseason. Bears blew them the fuck out, though. And I still don't like the coach, even though he just keeps his job somehow.
I have to be honest. I'm a little worried that the Bengals are on collapse watch.
I say it every year. I'm scared to say it this year.
I really am. It makes me nervous that Joe Burrow has
dyed his hair. He's looking like young Eminem.
That I don't mind. I could care less what he does to his hair. What I'm most concerned about is this wrist injury that he had last year.
That seems like
that he
something
claims he did his research and he couldn't find a single quarterback who had experienced that injury. The only players he could find who had an injury that was similar to his were offensive linemen.
Yeah, it was weird, man. He couldn't even throw the ball. It was so strange.
I don't know what he's doing now, but for the longest time, he essentially could not throw a football more than 2 days in a row.
Man.
That makes me a little nervous. And this guy there's always been some kind of, I think his rookie year was the only year.
I got hurt his rookie year.
No, but his rookie year was the only year he didn't get hurt before the season started.
Oh, okay.
Like he was dealing with some kind of injury almost every year. And then, of course, he blew his knee out in his rookie year. So every year this guy's got something going on. He's a great quarterback for sure. Nobody's arguing that.
His legs don't get talked about enough. He can, when the play breaks down, he does it the right way. You know what? He's somebody Justin Fields should pattern after.
Right.
Instead of just dropping down.
I don't know if they got better or worse at running back. Joe Mixon leaves. Zach Moss comes in.
Worse. What about
he's a better blocker. The thing about Zach Moss is that he's a better blocker than Joe Mixon. He's one of the best blocking running backs.
He's like a third down bet.
So, obviously that's sort of priority number one is to protect Burrow. That's why they went out and got my man, former Bulldog offensive lineman Amarius Mims, 6'8", 340 pounds. That should help.
Damn, 6'8".
But then you have this whole situation where their wide receiver room is fascinating. Jamar Chase still hasn't shown up to practice because he's looking for a contract. Very underreported story. T. Higgins is playing on the franchise tag, so he's not. He ain't happy about it. And then you've got all these like kind of interesting young pieces. One of which we remember from last year, Andre Yoshivas is apparently playing quite well. Also, Alabama wide receiver Jermaine Burton, who's looked really good in the preseason games. But I'm primarily worried about Burrow's health and the Bengals defense, which felt like it kind of collapsed last year.
Yeah, and
they are predicted to have 10.5 wins.
I don't think they make it.
I feel like it's a little scary.
What do you think about the Browns? This is prove it time for Deshaun Watson.
That's my primary question is this the last year that we have to pretend that Deshaun Watson is still capable of being a top 5 quarterback? If he fails.
Yes.
Like can we just stop?
Got to be last chance because he got outperformed by Joe Flacco, who's playing football now. I think he's on the Colts.
Yeah, he got shuffled off somewhere else.
Yeah, I saw him in preseason. I was like, is that Joe Flacco? But Deshaun with his sexual harassment, which no stories from last year. Maybe he learned his lesson. Or maybe he makes his masseuses sign an NDA.
Yeah. Or maybe the Browns, only male masseuses.
Oh, yes.
Here on out.
Send in big Samoan men from now on to give them, we'll book your massages, Deshaun.
Obviously, the Browns' defense was kind of, sort of the story of why this team played so well last year. That always makes me a little nervous because it's pretty rare.
Jim Schwartz.
It's pretty rare for defenses to play that well 2 years in a row.
Legion of Boom.
Naturally, there are exceptions for sure, but you expect a little regression, which puts even more pressure on Deshaun Watson to.
Well, nowadays, if there's a defense
succeed.
That's good for a couple years, then they poach that coach. That's normally what happens. But Jim Schwartz, he ain't trying to be a coach. That's a perfect scenario for them.
8.5 is their over-under.
I think they break that. They're going to beat it. No? Oh, I know we both dislike Deshaun Watson, but I don't think it'll be under him. I think they figured it out, man.
I'm just not
they got
sure.
A good coaching staff.
you got a combination of like if he plays poorly, at what point do you bench him? If he gets injured, you got to deal with the Jameis Winston coming in. I'm just not really. I'm not.
I don't feel like the drop off's that big from Deshaun Watson to Jameis Winston, especially lately.
Which is very embarrassing for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Unless he shuts us all up.
Yeah, we'll see.
What you got for the Ravens?
We shall see.
What's their over?
What do we have for the Ravens? Their over under is 11.
Sounds about right. Every year.
I would guess over. I mean, obviously, a lot of this has to do with, Derrick Henry.
Super Bowl hype this year.
Derrick Henry's 31 years old, so you always have to worry, does he still have enough tread on the tires? I happen to think that Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in the same backfield is the most terrifying thing the NFL has ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
They also had a great defense last year. They lost a couple of pieces on defense, but I think they should still be fine.
They lost one in the division. How do you let Patrick Queen go to the Steelers?
Right. That's a big L.
But they also got a late bye week 14 bye week.
I still think that this division runs through Baltimore.
Yeah.
I really do.
I agree. I agree.
I really do.
What do you think about the Steelers?
I think the Steelers are going to be a dumpster fire.
Never say never, but never.
I mean, I love Tomlin. You know that. Yeah. I love my man, former Bulldog George Pickens as well. But this whole Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and I understand the financials of it. Don't get me wrong. Like,
it's a great GM move, but is it a great,
But it's also one of those things where, it's a little cliche and we joke about it, but it's like, if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. Like, what's the point if it's just going to be embarrassing to watch this offense struggle to function?
And what's their over-under?
8.5. So, look, it's, again, preseason. However, Wilson and Fields shared the reps for an entire preseason game this past week against mostly backups.
Yeah.
And they produced exactly 3 points.
Yeah. That's
through 2 preseason games, they've only scored 15 points.
15 points, yeah.
So my question is, are we sure Arthur Smith is not a complete and utter fraud? Are we 100% sure on that? Right? He gets all the credit for what happened in Tennessee, but maybe, just maybe, it had more to do with the fact that they had Derrick Henry.
And Brown. That's in the Eagles now. I forget his first name.
Oh, yeah, A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown.
You got A.J. Brown, Henry, you got Derrick Henry.
And Tannehill.
And you're going to give him credit for turning Tannehill around? It's like, well, maybe those two guys have more to do with turning Tannehill around.
Good point.
I think, and having suffered the last couple of years with Arthur Smith, I kind of think he might have gotten exposed. He's in over his head. I don't think he's a good coach.
He's the only coordinator now, though. It's still Mike Tomlin.
I don't even think he's good at that. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he belongs on an NFL sideline.
Damn.
Period.
All right. AFC East. My team's division plays the NFC West and the AFC South. So there's no reason these teams shouldn't be pretty decent. Let's start with the Bills, man. Interesting.
Yes,
team.
Let's.
The Bills,
10.5. 10.5 is their over-under.
I think they're under, man. I really feel like this is the year they collapse. And that's me being hopeful and also realistic. They're going to suck.
Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, and Keon Coleman. Those are the wide receivers that Josh Allen will be throwing the ball to. That's problematic to me. Salary cap issues forced them to essentially gut the defense. They lost a lot of guys in the offseason because they just couldn't afford to pay everybody. And now they lose Matt Milano to an injury that's probably going to keep him out for the year. I really...
Yeah.
And then you got Josh Allen, who has a tendency to play hero ball. I just think it's going to unravel.
Yeah, they're going to hate him.
I don't know how long it's going to take, but I think it's going to happen.
At least with no diva receivers, the locker room might stay together a little longer. And they got a week 12 bye. That's pretty good. So I hate them with a deep passion that burns within. So
right.
I really wish them the worst. But we'll see. They got a good coach. They got a good quarterback. Speaking of good coaches and good quarterbacks, let's talk about the Miami Dolphins.
Let's do that.
Yeah. So contract year. Tua got his contract.
Yeah.
They seem happy. They got an early bye week 6. So I don't know. I just feel like what's their over under?
9.5.
Over. Come on, man. What was the Bills? 10.5. Sometimes I get mad at this stuff, man. But they're bringing back the same offense, same system, third year in a row. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and they've added Jonnu Smith to the mix. And Julian Hill is actually looking good in camp and whatnot. So I'm really thinking they run away with this division that I think is going to suffer.
My biggest concern about the Dolphins is their offensive line. That was a problem late last year, where it felt a little like a Jenga tower. If you pull out one piece, the whole thing starts to kind of crumble.
Yeah,
a little. They start out the year last year like they've been shot out of a cannon, and then it starts to slow down.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can play that kind of football at that speed and that pace for 17 weeks. You know
that
what
might
I mean?
be it. Yeah.
So I'm a little concerned about. I'm hoping that your coach realizes that. I mean, he essentially has the fastest team in the NFL. He needs to they got to figure out a way to pace this thing a little bit.
Yeah, you got a good point.
So that's my only real concern with them. They have to be, honestly, since last year, kind of one of the most fun teams to watch.
Yeah.
For me, they're so much fun to watch. Now, another team that's fun to watch, but for different reasons, the New York Jets. This is more like can't look away from a car crash, kind of fun to watch type thing.
What's their over-under? Isn't it crazy? Aren't they supposed to be like second best odds to win a division after the Bills?
You're going to be so...
It's 11?
9.5.
Come on, man.
Obviously, all of the hype that we had last year coming into the season before Aaron Rodgers snapped his Achilles has all just been, copy and pasted onto this season as if like we're just going to pick up where we left off before he only managed to survive 4 snaps last year. The other, I think in some respects, some legitimate reasons for hope for this team are players like Breece Hall, who came back last year from an injury and played really, really well on a terrible football team. So, I mean, if he can continue to do that, that would be great.
Well, it opened up the offense a bit more. They had the defense is really good, and their offense was just so congested and compact last year because the quarterbacks were the worst in the NFL.
I mean, I do think they're going to be a lot better than they were last year for sure. I just don't really have any faith in the Jets to Yeah.
It's a matter of time before it all falls apart, and our boy
Ron,
is gonna fuck it up.
where are you?
Speaking of falling apart, let's talk about the Patriots.
Ooh, building up. They're building.
I just think it's kind of fascinating. Everybody wants out. Nobody wants in.
Yeah.
The whole Brandon Ayuk thing, apparently they had a deal, and he's like, I don't want to fucking play for that team. They suck.
Yeah, I think they're going to be bad. Gerard Mayo is going to be learning on the job, They have faith in him. It seems like they're going to have him around, but they don't mind.
They still have They still have a choice to make between Jacoby Brissett and Drake May. Both quarterbacks. Brissett has looked bad in preseason.
He's just, that's his thing.
And May has looked better. I would assume,
it's going to be May. It's going to be May.
Drake May is a very polarizing quarterback.
Yeah. Okay.
Because some people think, he's the most NFL-ready quarterback from this year's draft, while others think that he's nothing more than Baker Mayfield 2.0.
Oh, okay.
So I flip a coin. I have no fucking clue. I didn't watch. He played for North Carolina. I'm like, I don't watch North Carolina.
Can we call him Draker Mayfield?
That's a good idea.
If he plays like that. All right, the final.
I think the New England Patriots are going to be a joke. They're 4.5 is their over-under.
I was going to say, what's their over-under?
4.5.
Oof. They'll be over that, though. That's really low.
That's pretty low.
All right, the final division, AFC South, and they're playing the NFC North.
The one you've all been waiting for.
I know. I should have done the other way around. They're playing the NFC North and the AFC East. We can start with the Titans because I think they're going to be a goddamn dumpster fire.
6.5.
Who's their coach?
Is there over under?
6.5.
Brian Callahan, former Bengals offensive coordinator, is their new coach.
Why would it take him and not the Bengals defensive coordinator? How does Anarumo not have a job as head coach? It's so.
I can answer that question. Apparently, the owner of the Titans is openly admitting in interviews, we want to change the identity of the Tennessee Titans. We would like for them to be a little more like the high-flying Houston Oilers, which is where this team came from. This team has had a very hard-nosed, in the trenches, in your face kind of identity for the last
Mike Vrabel.
Especially since during the Mike Vrabel era, and this is part of the reason why they fired Mike Vrabel, despite the fact that he had only one losing season, I guess.
That last year was his first losing season.
Exactly. And I think he expected to come back, and they said, nah. They look around the league and they want their team to be more fun. They want their team to be more fun. They want it to be more offensive, more high-flying. This is why they went after Will Levis. This is why they now have Calvin Ridley in the building. Tony Pollard will be running. I assume he's the lead back at this point. We'll see. He had a down year last year. I don't know.
We'll see, yeah.
But that is the new strategy is to turn the Tennessee Titans into the old Houston Oilers, essentially. Okay. That's the short version of it.
Well, to add on to things, they got an early bye week 5 bye, after playing the Dolphins, after getting their ass beat by the Dolphins. Even though they beat the Dolphins last year. So that's going to be one that's probably circled on the Dolphins calendar. That comeback victory.
I don't know if Will Levis has it in him to be,
me neither.
A 2024 white version of Warren Moon. But we'll see. He certainly chucks it downfield like Warren Moon. Let's give him that.
Yeah. Then we got the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the big question is Is he gonna make it? Is he gonna get that starting quarterback position? No, of course not.
Of course not.
Mac Jones is down there backing up our boy who just got his contract, Trevor Lawrence. Isn't he now the highest paid player in football?
Something like that, yeah.
He's up there. He got a big contract, but I don't know. I guess he's going to play off.
I feel like a lot of people are down on the Jags.
I am
year.
too. I don't know why. I don't know.
Really? Because I'm kind of feeling kind of the opposite. If I'm being honest. I still think this is a very good team. I think I give Trevor Lawrence a bit of a pass last year because I think he played probably about 75% of the season with an ankle injury. And I think he kind of powered through it. So I still think he's a very good quarterback. I think Doug Peterson's a good coach. They lost Calvin Ridley, but they still have Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram. They scooped up Gabe Davis, who's not great, but he serves a role. And then they drafted this really talented wide receiver, Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU. Extremely good player. I'm actually kind of wondering if I think they may have actually gotten better.
What's the over-under?
I really do. Over-under is 8.5.
What was the over-under for the Titans?
6.5.
Okay. 8.5, huh? I don't know, man. I don't know why I feel like the Titans won't get that, but yeah, I could be wrong.
I'm picking the Jags to be the nobody believed in us team. Yeah, I'm picking them to be my nobody believed in us team. I really, I think they got something. I'm still a little worried about their defense, but
all I have to say about that is,
Nigga, please.
no, I'm just kidding. The Colts. I'll try to finish on a bang. The Colts, with their a really late bye, week 14. That might be the latest you can get one. And Shane Steichen surprised people, been a pretty good coach. And I watched their preseason games just to see the snaps that Anthony Richardson took. Not. I don't think he's it, man.
I'm so glad to hear you say that because look. He didn't play that much last year,
Right.
And I feel like the majority of his hype is being driven by all these fantasy nerds.
Yeah.
Right? That he's going to put up fantasy points. I think he had one game last year where even though he didn't play the full game, he still had like 20 fantasy points. And it's like, look, here's something that I think is really important that most people forget. Anthony Richardson has played exactly 17 football games since high school.
Yeah.
Since high school.
That's crazy.
Okay. He only played 1 year as a starter with the Florida Gators because he wasn't good enough to beat out Kyle Trask, who's currently a backup who's not good enough to beat out Baker Mayfield in Tampa. Even if you don't hate the Gators like I do, you got to admit that this is illuminating information. You know what I mean? About whether he's actually good at actual football. The fantasy nerds aside.
I was going to put a bet out there that the Joe Flacco would get some starts by the end of the season. He would have some starts. Because Anthony Richardson wouldn't be that dude, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see. I mean, when he's a big guy, that's fun. But so was Jamarcus Russell.
Right.
He could throw from 80 yards on his knees. Remember that shit?
Yeah. On the positive side, the Colts drafted this rookie edge rusher, Latu.
Oh, their defense is going to be good. They're going to have a good defense.
Very excited to see him play. I'm hearing nothing but good things about him coming out of training camp. He's going to be fun to watch. But I think the roller coaster continues for the Colts. Their over under is 8.5.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. What's the Texans? What's up with them? I think they're gonna win the division, of course.
Right? They are the new darlings of the AFC South. Their over-under is 10 wins.
Another late bye, week 14. 10 wins.
I mean, that's the prediction.
So they're supposed to have the most. So they just think that division is gonna suck, and the Texans will come out with 10 wins, winning 10-7. Nah,
I always get a little nervous when you have a team that kind of rises out of nowhere one season, and then as the next season rolls along, people are starting to call them Super Bowl contenders. I'm like, whoa. Hold on a second. Like, people are doing that. A lot of people are saying this.
well, Stroud's a stud, and it looks like the culture is right. That was a quick switch of the culture there.
Oh my God, yeah. You got CJ Stroud, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs. They brought in Joe Mixon. I kind of think Dameon Pierce might have a comeback year.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have a great year last year, but I think he's still there. So I actually have more faith in him than I do in Joe Mixon. I think, and then of course D'Amico Ryans comes in and just completely changes the culture. This is a new football team for me. I don't think it's a blip. I wouldn't call them Super Bowl contenders, but yeah.
I predict them. They're going to be deep in the playoffs and get put out by the Chiefs probably.
Right.
Something like that. Like one of these high-powered teams that can, And then Stroud have to live up to it. It's only his second season, But yeah, they got nothing to hang their heads on, man. The future's bright for them. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. It's they're no longer an easy out. They come to play. They got some good players, and good for them. You know what I mean? After all the shit that they had to put up with after that, the way Deshaun Watson did them dirty. I love watching them succeed and Watson fail at the same time. It's like It feels like there's something's right in the universe when that happens. So,
yeah, man. Well, that's all I got.
I think we did it.
Yeah, the AFC. Man, in 2 weeks, the league is back.
I know.
Can't wait.
I know. Again, for those of you in the fantasy league, we will get back to you soon.
Yeah.
About
SveNFL Pod Group on Facebook. SveNFL Pod Group to get information.
Because it's gonna have to happen soon.
Yeah.
I think I like the idea that it could be next weekend. You know what I mean? We'll have all the injury information at that point. I think that's when you can make an informed decision about who you want to draft and who you don't want to draft.
Yeah, man.
So the target is that hopefully we're going to draft next weekend. We'll get back to you guys with more specifics.
Yeah. All right, y'all. I'll gotta do my music, as my grandma used to call it, the music. Yeah, but thank y'all for checking this episode out. This has been the latest update from SveNFL, breaking down the AFC. We'll be back soon to talk about the season starting up. It's been Jonathan Rollins.
Skiff Muse Sarah.
With SveNFL. Peace.
Lady y'all.
Get serious.